The first, I want to talk about variety and dialects. Definition: the English language varies on regional, national, and global level. This level of difference are the basis for the term dialect and variety. Dialect is an English variant that is characteristic of a particular area, community, or group on the regional level, while variety is a variant of English which is considered standard or general language of a country on the nation level. The next is about phonetic and phonological difference. When there are phonetic difference between two accents, the same set of phonemes are found in both accents, but some or all of the phonemes are realized differently. With regard to phonological difference, the most obvious type of difference is where one accent has a different number of phonemes from another.
Today, we're going to look at the different types of English in the world. You may think that they're all the same. After all, it's the same language. But actually, there are quite a few differences. The most obvious one is pronunciation. For example, can you tell where these characters are from? The United States, Britain, or Australia? Hi, how you doing? Hi, how are you? G'day, how you going? It isn't just pronunciation that's different, it's also spelling. British English sometimes uses extra letters. Here are a few examples. British, favourite. US, favourite. British, colour. US, colour. Sometimes the British use different letter order too. British, centre. US, centre. But the major difference is vocabulary. Sometimes, even though people from the United States, Britain and Australia all speak English, they can still get very confused when talking to each other because they use different words for the same thing. Listen to these. If you walk down the footpath past the servo, my unit's on the left. If you walk down the pavement past the petrol station, my flat's on the left. If you walk down the sidewalk past the gas station, my apartment's on the left.
The next part is about the RP accent. Received pronunciation is the instantly recognizable British accent. Popular labels for this dialect include Queen English, Oxford English, and BBC English. RP accent is often taught to students who are learning English, especially for those learning English as a second or foreign language.
The IP accent, retrieval pronunciation, is the easily recognizable British accent. Popular labels from this dialect include the Queen's English, Oxford English, and BBC English. IP is an accent, not a dialect. The IP vowel system. There are 25 vowels term monopone. This form 5 3-pound is the IP vowel system presented in table 8 once. Table 8 once the IP vowel system. Some of the different are presented as follows. The distinction between D and R is now lost for very many speakers. AR becoming monopone is not a word, and the master of this diphthong also with R. There is a strong tendency per part of the same broadcast, thereby Small occasional diphthong formed from I and R, or to be pronounced as monotone. Their orthographies occurs before the vowels, fricative F, O, S, S, although speakers sometimes pronounce the vowel as R. Conservative IP has a black vowel U in it works like pause. But for younger speakers, the vowel may increasingly be prompted in the direction of U. It spells before as improve. Some of the different are presented as follows. There is home or varies continually, ranking from among conservative speakers to among some advantaged speakers. The diphthong of spell is very often monotone to words like truth may be pronounced as truth or truth. There is an increasing trend for U and input to be pronounced with an unpronounceable vowel in your IP address. 1. The E of B rather than the E of B occurred in the final syllable of very many L's. 2. The fronting of U towards U is more widespread than in Greek IP. 3. The vowel E in unstressed syllable in IP often corresponds to O in your AP as 4. Speakers with neither near IP accent are likely to improve from IP in one important phonological respect. 5. Some speakers from the Midlands and Northern England may have local accent which lasts for a pause and
Receiver pronunciation is the accent traditionally regarded as standard for British English. For over a century, there had been a woman oversight question at the definition of RP, whether it's geographically neutral, how many speakers there are, whether separity exists, how appropriate a choice is as a standard, and how the accent has changed over time. The name itself is controversial. RP is an accent, so the study of RP is concerned only with matter of pronunciation. Other areas relevant to the study of language standards, such as vocabulary, grammar, and style, are not considered. Lot, hill, bottle. Most English accents have lost the original construct as in with, well. This is for the most part true also of RP, but there are some, especially older RP speakers who still preserve it, and one suspects it is often the result of a conscious decision and effort to do so. Ma cold, cold. It's not far. It's far behind. She's far away. This means that words like far have two pronunciations, depending on whether or not they are following vowels. As a future development, and by analogy with linking rules, there are now many accents of English and R is inserted before a following vowel, even though there are no R in the spelling. This rule is none of intrusive. In majority of English accents, it occurs in environments such as the following.
Hi, my name is Hao. So let's take a look at British English and American English pronunciation. According to Beer, the two most commonly taught in ESL or EFL programs are American English and British English. Although no single form is considered right, there are clear preferences in use. The three main distinctions between American and British English are pronunciation, vocabulary, spelling. There are differences in vowels, consonants, stress, and intonation in pronunciation. So in vocabulary, there are differences in the use or usage of nouns and verbs, especially phrasal verbs and the names of the specific tools or items. And the last one, there are differences in some prefix and suffix forms in spelling. The most noticeable difference between American English and British English is how the consonants R, T, and Y are pronounced. The most noticeable distinction between American English and British English is the omission of the letter R in British English. British speakers only pronounce a printed R if the R follows a vowel sound. Therefore, we don't say it in car, park, horse, or further. Apart from the fact that there are more R, there is also a small but significant difference in the way the R is pronounced in American English than in British English is pronounced. In American English, the tongue is curved further back, giving it a slightly muffled quality when R is pronounced in read and narrow. Whereas in British English, the tongue is flatter and more forward when the sound comes after a stressed vowel and before a weak vowel. In American English, this sound is often made with a voiced flap, similar to a very fast ot. For example, water, water, Saturday, Saturday, letter, letter, university, university. This sound would be pronounced as a normal T in British English. Water, Saturday, letter, university. And the last consonant sound has the difference between two models is y, and yacht dropping is a common term for this. When y comes after the vowel consonants like t, n, s, z in British English, it is omitted in American English. So the following examples I will give, I will read from British English to American English. Tune, tune, duty, duty, new, new, lewd, lewd, shoot, suit,
In British English, the background open sound R is used to pronounce words like hard, soft, large, and one. In American English, round lips are used when this sound is pronounced. For example, hard, hard, last, last, soft, soft, once, once. The pronunciation of R is fairly similar in American English and British English, such as cast and mask. However, there is a group of words containing the spelling which change from R to R in American English. Carry is carry. Harry is Harry, and Mary is Mary. British English ear in was steer, clear, rear, and cheer is pronounced ear in American, so steer, clear, rear, and cheer. In British English, when pronouncing words like go, no, so the diphthong O start in the middle of the mouth, and in American English, on the other hand, it began with the back O, go, nose, so, and toe. This sound has a lot of variance on both sides of the Atlantic. There is a greater difference in British English between the length of vowel sound, with some being pronounced significantly longer than their American counterpart. Some of this is because the R sound is added to many American vowel sounds, as seen above. More prominent chart reflects this by showing 5 or 6 English vowel sounds with 2 triangular dots, where more charts do not offer this American English. For example, house, heart, bar, shoe.
The differences between American English and British English can be displayed in terms of stress and intonation. The first is word stress. Some words, particularly those of French origin, are emphasized differently in American English, with the last syllable stress in American English and the first syllable stress in British English. Particularly those of French origin, where American English preserves the final syllable stress, while British English keeps the first syllable stress.
Adult,
adult,
ballet,
ballet,
brochure,
brochure.
When it comes to intonation, though the structure of speech in British English and American English is relatively similar, the melodies are considerably different. The most noticeable distinction is the British tendency to use high-falling intonation, emphasizing the primary stress and then lowering it, whereas rising tones are more common in American English, thus you go up from the major stress. Another noticeable difference in intonation between British English and American English is that American speakers speak more slowly and monotonously than British speakers, and the British are much more expressive and they often lengthen the vowels.